All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. I am Aliza Bloom Robinson. I am with Soleira Green and Lisa Mitchell, and we are here as part of the Superpowers and Miracles. I forget the title of our grand event, but it's a fabulous 7-day free event. And we are focusing today on unleashing possibilities, sourcing a new humanity. And so we're going to just be in dialogue a little bit. We'll probably do a lineup. Maybe we should line up. We've just done that, but let's do that. Soleira, would you just lead us in doing that for everybody who's watching?
Yeah, sure. So just take a deep breath. Think of something you love. Chocolate, beaches, mountains, sunshine, nature. Let it lift you up. And then line up for the new possibilities of you, your life, and for the world. And to hopefully unfold your part in sourcing the new humanity.
Yeah.
There you go. Back to you.
Thank you. I just had a brand new possibility pop when you said that. It's chocolate peaches, because you said a series of things and I heard chocolate peaches. I went, oh, that's a new possibility. Anyway, what we've been playing with, the three of us, we've actually been in a group together for a while, and we've been playing with what is the new possibility. And for me, it feels like what's happening right now for myself, for my clients, and the world, and the work that we're doing here, is that we're like living in the world here, right? And then we're beginning to pop, look over the fence at what's new. We've been doing that for quite some time. But right now, it's like we're popping over the fence, and then there's another fence, and then there's another, fence isn't the right word, but another layer of consciousness. And each time we pop to a higher perspective or consciousness or newness, we have access to possibilities we could never even see before. My theme for the year is miraculous outcomes, and it makes me smile. Because even in the trauma, we've had a little bit of personal trauma in our lives this year already. And even in that, I can just go, yeah, but for that person, I can just hold a miraculous outcome. And it just kind of softens me and makes me smile. I don't have to know what it looks like.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and that's what I was connecting to this morning as well. And I shared on another video on Facebook this morning that I woke up in the night and was like, about a few things going on in my life. And I actually watched a video that you did in the event, Soleira, and I was like, I need to just shift the energy. I need to clear it. So I watched the video that you put at the beginning of this group, and I was like, oh, that's miraculous outcome. So we've also been playing with this idea of community, haven't we? And you know, when we come together in these small groups, and the three of us have been working together outside of this event, is what's possible when you come together with other people who hold that energetic, who hold that high vibe. And, you know, it's been so inspiring, I think, to be in this group together. And, you know, with Soleira, who I've known for donkey's years, and Aliza that I've got to know recently, but holding that space of potential. And I think that's where I've seen the possibilities speed up, you know, that it's kind of like there's a collective movement in it that's so much more powerful than what we can create for ourselves individually. So that's been really exciting to me, and something that I want to take into my work and start playing in those pods of people and see what can get created.
Yeah, because for me, possibilities equate to something that isn't yet, something that hasn't been before. And I think we are adventurers into what hasn't been before and what could be now, you know, and that's so exciting and so much fun, really, when you take that on. Like, I know, you know, 2-3 decades ago, it was like, change, oh my God, the big stressor of life. And now it's like, oh, change, what's coming, what's next? You know, we have a whole different orientation to it, and it is a collective movement. And I believe that what's sweeping the world right now is everybody's staying home and everything's closing down. And I think it's a beautiful movement of possibility. It's the possibility for all kinds of things. The earth to thrive in nature and for us to see it and just go, oh, this is what we've been doing. Look at how quickly this could, be over with. That's a possibility that nobody thought of when they were talking about climate change. They were saying, 2035 and 2050 maybe. And it's like, no, what if we could do it this month? Hey, heck.
3 weeks. Yeah.
That's a new possibility,
Yeah.
And who we're becoming as a species, as a race of beings, human beings, who we're becoming is something brand new, and that's a new possibility of us.
Yeah.
I believe we're redesigning, remaking, re-engineering ourselves into something much more wondrous, much more connected, much kinder. Although we're doing pretty good on the kindness front these days, I have to say. Good on you, human beings,
Yeah, we've been finding that, right? The compassion and the gentleness and the kindness. I've been humanity really since before 2012, when Barbara Marx Hubbard and the whole conscious evolution and evolution of consciousness. And it really feels like it's happening now. It's happening right now for those of us like us who are working together consciously on that. But it's happening. It's like softening the crumbling of the structures or allowing this rebirth to be so fast, in the earth, but also in our new humanity. I say new humanity. Lisa, you have human potential. You use Soleira, you use a different word.
Evolutionary leap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what's
consciousness.
exciting now is that it's not just in communities where we've come together consciously because we've all been exploring this field for a long time, but actually now it feels like, the kind of just every person on the street has access to all this stuff. So that's where I think it's a new possibility, and that's the new humanity, because now everybody has the potential to be in it and everybody can pop into it. And we know from our own work together, right, that the speed that things come into matter now is so much faster. When you start to create, it almost like has an immediate ripple effect out. And that's certainly something I've not seen in that speed before, which helps people believe in the miraculous. Oh, I thought it happened. Oh my God. So then, that is a new humanity and a new reaching for something. And I was showing, I watched Star Wars at the weekend, those old enough to remember the first go round. And, it amazed me that they were talking about the power and source and all of that in 1977. And yet it feels now like it's shifted into a new evolution, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah. And I think that one of the things for all of us is that we like to modernize it, to give it a kind of fresh language, fun approach, put a lightness to it. We're not taking this as all serious and significant. You have to clear all the stuff and heal all our issues. And we're coming at it from a very different place. We're coming at it as adventurers, creators, evolutionary players, who want to make something unprecedented happen together. And like you were saying, speed at which that takes effect now. So where we were working in consciousness 15, 20 years ago, it would take a year or two before you might see it. Then it moved up to a month or two. Then it moved up to a day or two. And I had a case today where I was thinking, I don't know what I'll do between 12 and 4. And boom. Hey, Soleira, can you do a coaching call? Yes. Like it was like a second after I had the thought of, I'm open to possibility. What might come in that I could do? I don't want to sit here and twiddle my fingers and be bored, So I was like, oh my God, that's the fastest I've ever seen it. Pretty amazing.
It's really amazing. It's so fast. And, it is like we're bringing a light touch to the seriousness of what's going on, but we're not making light of it either. But what I find is happening is like every time we line up or every time we touch that field, I call it the quantum field for lack of a better word, or the universe or whatever. Every time we touch that or every time I touch that, I just like get a smile. it like everything lightens up automatically.
Yeah.
And that's what we know from brain science and everything else does open us to new possibilities.
Absolutely.
So it's fun too.
Yeah.
You know, we giggle a lot on our calls.
So two things that I'd love to see us do. One is how does one reach for a new possibility? How do you go get it? And the second thing is, people who are watching, what's your part in sourcing a new humanity? What's your role, your passion, your contribution, that kind of thing. So what if we play with some of that?
Yeah.
Sound good? Maybe we could just kind of wrap it up together if you want. So, okay, I'll start it, but dive in, it's like feel free to just dive in. So, okay. Okay, so for me, if I want to reach for possibility, I have to kind of surrender my known self. I kind of like go, I am the universe, I am nature, I am the earth, I am joy, I am whatever you are. You might be love, you might be whatever. And I just become all of that in a kind of joyful way. And then to me, possibilities dwell in the quantum field. And the quantum field is kind of like, it's like a place where things pop. So it's not quite just the same as consciousness for me. It just kind of is there, and it has a kind of sentient awareness and intelligence. It's like pop. So if you take yourself in this full joy place, and then you just reach for a pop from the quantum field, let's just say it like that, and see what happens for people as we do that. And just call it. And you might see it kind of flowing all around. You might see it like streaming in. You might see it you might get it as an idea. You might not know what it is. You might just feel the energy. That's okay. You let it come and just joyfully go, yay, like I accept this. And then what happens is you go to take a shower or something and it goes bing. And there it is, because it's with you. You've brought it in from where they're all brewing in, the gestation tank, you could say, of the quantum field, and you've brought it in so it can find a home in you.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I find sometimes, because I work with a lot of leaders in the corporate field, and so all this is kind of new to a lot of them, although less so as time goes on. But what's interesting is that people often say to me, what do you mean by like energy or consciousness? And what I normally do is just get them to explore, so what's a time when you felt really connected? What's a time when you felt just like you're in an experience and your brain's not working and you're just kind of, and so I work with quite a lot of creative people. And so creative people really get it because they're in the flow of creativity. So I just get them to kind of go into that flow of creativity and in that space where, they're not attached to anything and they're just open to what emerges. So I'm finding with people now is sometimes I kind of just help them find an access point by helping them connect to something that's already true in their lives. And then that's kind of like the point, that's the access point that sort of where they can let go and they get that, oh, okay, you mean you need to be creative, oh, okay, I can do that. Okay, cool, go there. So sometimes I think it's about finding that, because I think most people have an experience of that sensation. It's just that we're not used to tapping into it in order to bring something new into our lives. We tend to associate it with a thing rather than kind of how it flows in life,
Yeah, it's a good point too, that it's unique to everybody. So you can't just follow someone's instructions. You have to let your own guidance system take you there, your own uniqueness, pilot the ship.
I feel sometimes people need some permission. So what you're both saying is so true. And another thing, if I'm working with somebody who's a little bit like, I don't see nothing, I got nothing. It's like, well, then imagine just turning around and the whole, like you just turn around and a whole new field of what you don't know, because it is completely about what you don't know. You can't dream it up. Right? I mean, you can, but the power of what we're talking about, you can't dream up with your mind. You have to enter that other space.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the pop. And then, what we're doing in my group is then powering up that pop, like really closing the gap into let's do it now. Let's be it now.
Well, you're both into sourcing a new humanity. So me too, but particularly you too. So just wonder, both of you want to kind of lead people into a way of looking at what's their part in that, or even their becoming into that.
Aliza?
For me, it's very similar to what we're just doing and talking about in possibility, and then it opens up. It opens up. What's a new possibility? Like, let's play with even kindness. A new humanity is going to be kindness, and in each time that you really pop and hang out there, because we've been touching it for decades. But what's new in my experience is that now we're living there, right? And we're popping down to what we would call reality instead of popping up into what's possible. And then everything changes. But it changes internally, like you become somebody who sees different, or who processes different, who lives in the world different. And then we gift that. It's just really, gifted as our contribution to the world. And that's the birthing of a new humanity. And then we show up different. We show up in our gifts, we show up in our power, we show up in our kindness. And that's the really simple, quick version of how we do it, how we access it.
And I found myself recently talking about a reality flip, because I feel like that's what it is. Like, that most people live from circumstance and what happens to them and their past and their belief system and their personality, and they stay within that limited kind of box. And actually, I feel like when you get what it feels like to live in a connected, universal way, it's just total. It's like just living. It's like, the red pill or the blue pill. It's a completely different space to live in.
Yeah.
So that's one of my kind of things I'm really passionate about, is how do we get more people to live from that space, which is connected and universal and source-led, I guess. And really go, oh gosh, I can live up there, and then the world looks different, and then I don't get trapped in all this stuff and mud and crap that goes around. It doesn't fit in that vibration. And like for me, if I sink down into that vibration, I know very quickly that's where I am, and I'll kind of go, oh, okay, I pop back out. Okay, now I'll kind of do something to pop myself back in. So you can feel the kind of the resonance and the dissonance of being in that space or not. So I think once you start playing with it, literally is like, oh, that's something completely different.
And that's part of the power of being in a group.
Yes.
Because with one of us, if we kind of go down, I don't know that I've seen Soleira go down, but
He's not going to get down anymore.
you just you go, zing me up, help me, and like I said, you pop down. It's not bad or wrong that you do, but it's how quickly can we come back to the new humanity, to the new reality, to the power of possibilities.
And here's what's wonderful about, particularly what you both were just saying. Hi, Hillary. Talk about the new humanity. So,
that's why she's in.
Yes, she's in.
So, one of the things is that, 20 years ago, if you were trying to access something like this, you had to kind of go way out. So you weren't really kind of present. And it was like you were dreaming some alternate version of reality. But now it's like so practical, so alive, so here, so available. I don't have to sit and meditate to access it. I just need to get up into my day, and I'm like bubbling with it. I'm bubbling with excitement and possibility and ideas and innovation and connection and people and work that I can do. And it's a different version. So I talk about it like, here's the old reality, which right now is kind of crumbling to mush. Hallelujah. Well, probably as a result of this, the complete redesign of education, government, business work, all of it's going to be so different when the lights come back on and we go back out, kind of thing.
About homeschooling today, weren't we?
Yeah.
We're existing quite nicely over here. We've had fun. It's quite nice not to have the kind of drama of trying to get to school every day. We've just been for a beautiful walk in the fields with Rosie, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we're doing it all together, aren't we? Okay.
Yeah.
So she has to come in because she's the new humanity. How old are you?
Yes.
8. So she gets humanity in a whole other way that I didn't get when I was 8. So you know, well, Soleira doesn't she? And she knows what you're like. Yeah.
And kids like you, Ella Ray, have great mums and dads who get them to get who they are and stay that way.
Yes.
Which is not that we didn't have great mums and dads too, but they weren't oriented to the things we are, you know, like that we're opening up possibility for kids. That's what we want in our education systems, rather than closing them down to who they might be and what their genius and expression and uniqueness is. So exciting. I love it. Okay, anything else for any of you?
You know, I just want to throw out, because we've talked about the contribution and the community a couple times. Each of us really has groups. So if somebody's like looking for a place to play and be supported, I've got my open group, which is Powering Up Possibilities. Lisa, you have your Human Potential Hub. Soleira, your groups are changing, but the Future Creators is open.
Future Creators is an open group on Facebook,
And we also have ways, you know, to support people in other ways as well in our other ongoing groups. So you don't have to do this alone. Like, you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And so reach out and be connected, and let us hold the space for you to move into unleashing possibilities.
Especially right now.
Especially right now.
As we evolutionary leap to new possibilities of us. So
that's right.
And also, I'd love to know if people watching this video, just in the comments, about what you're experiencing. Like, does what we're saying resonate, and does it kind of, are you feeling this evolutionary leap and this sense of unleashing possibility? Because I feel like more and more people that I talk to are feeling the same thing. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to know what's occurring for the people. Are you resonating with what we're saying? Does it connect? Is it your experience?
Yeah, fantastic.
That's my cheeky monkey behind me. This is real life of like homeschooling.
Exactly.
Oh, well, thanks everybody for watching, and may you dwell in possibility and leap graciously into the next levels of ourselves. So there you go. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.